the whole templates, they're really big. So right at the bottom here, you can see that it's 164 megabytes because of all of these layers. So they're all layered when I do them, and you can basically go to paste, and it'll paste the image that you got from Google. And I usually just throw it somewhere. I'll enlarge it, and then so I kind of have a little bit of a reference for the image, and then you kind of go from there. And the way I pretty much do my templates, um, a lot of times I'll start from the bottom and work my way up. It's just something that I've always done for whatever reason, and just because of the source image, I think I'm gonna keep these clear. The outsole, I might try to change the opacity a little bit. I really don't like the blue hue, the blue hint to it. So we can go to hue saturation, turn it down a little bit, and as you can see, it goes from blue to completely no color at all. So you just want to, you don't want to take all the color out, but you definitely want to take out some of the blue. And if you turn up the lightness, you know what I mean. You kind of can change it a lot. And I don't know, for the sake of the midsole already being white, I might whiten it up a little bit more. And as you can see, I do the hue and saturation a lot, or you will see, should I say. So I'll take out the saturation, and that removes any kind of color that might have been in there already because it's not a true white, you know what I mean? So you taking that out, and then you turn up the lightness just to make it brighter a little bit, you know. All right. And then we would go to the pat and cut. And because this is a black based shoe, it's probably the worst shoe to start with as a source because it's really hard to turn black into any other color because you lose the detail in the specific layer, which you'll see. So once again, I usually go to hue saturation, turn down the saturation, and then I'll kind of make it a little lighter, not a lot, but just enough where you can kind of this is where you'll learn to start to play with the color a little bit. So then once you go to adjustments, you just go to brightness and contrast, um, and you'll pretty much turn the brightness all the way up. So now you got, you know what I mean, like you could leave it like this, and this is almost like a metallic silver kind of print, and then you just play with the contrast, and you'll see what it does for you. So you can kind of make it more shiny by turning the contrast all the way up, or you can turn it down to -50. And so you can kind of leave it at that, or you can keep going. And I don't want to leave it this silvery color, so I'm going to opt to keep going and make it change the color. And I went to levels, which is in the edit. I'm sorry, the image, and then you go to adjustments. And so basically, right here, this slider is what you're gonna do to pretty much lighten it up even more. And then you can adjust this one to the left, but it's just basically sliding it. So you can go further as well, and now you get into almost a white patent leather, and I think I might leave it there. And then you go to the output levels, and you can still touch it up a little bit. The further you go, the less detail you're going to have, because you can tell by the laces that they start to lose the definition in them. So I still want it to look like patent leather. So at this point, I think I'll leave it right there. So then you can just go down to the next layer, and through the process of these videos, I'll start to work on actually doing actual templates of shoes, and you can see the process there. So because this Jumpman is blue, ultimately you're gonna want to make it there's different ways that you can adjust the Jumpman or adjust color in general. So you can go to hue saturation and basically take this hue and you can slide it. And this is the most basic way of using Photoshop. And this is pretty much how I learned. First thing you do is, you get to the shoe, and then you just play with the hue and saturation. So this right here is going to give you a cut, basically the rainbow, as you can see. And let's see. Obviously, I want it to be red, but sometimes it's kind of hard to get the best color doing it this way. So it's red, but it's kind of like a very dull. So then you turn the saturation up, and now it's instantly a little darker, or should I say more saturated or vibrant. And then you can you can make it a little darker, or you can make it a little lighter, but then you still got to play with the saturation some more. So we were making it really red right there, and I think this is probably the sweet spot. And so we just keep moving. Sock liners next. I think I might want to do a white sock liner. So just again, hue and saturation, turn the saturation all the way down. And to be honest, you don't have to always do that, but it's just something that I've done, and it's kind of like a what would the word be? It's just a habit now. So I turn up the lightness a little bit just so I can make it more gray. And gray or white is ultimately the colors that you want to be in when you're manipulating anything, because it's much easier to manipulate when it's white or gray versus black. So I've turned it up, and you can see where you can make it pure black, or you can make it pure white, but you want to be in between that. So you go back down to the 0%, and then you just lighten it up a little bit so you can grab that gray color. So now you go to your adjustments, and then here I use selective color a lot, and this gives you your whole spectrum of color. You go down to your neutrals, and then you just basically take that black and zip it all the way down to a negative 100%. Or if you want the plus 100%, you'd obviously get it a darker black. But it's still not exactly white. It's a very light gray. So then you can just hit it with the brightness and contrast again, and just lightening it up a little bit. So now we're there. And obviously this shoe right here is dope enough as it is, but I think I want to play off of the light gray. That's the background. So I think we're gonna maybe make the whole upper a light gray. And so we just keep moving. Next is the leather back, and we just keep going. So I'm just turning the saturation down and lightening it up a little bit. And sometimes, like with something that has a lot of detail like this leather, you can actually see the texture in it. If you go too far, you'll start to lose the detail and the texture. So again, you just lightening it up, and then you're gonna do the same thing, brightness and contrast, and then lighten it up. Now, see, I got an idea, and you see how it's like a metallic color at this point, and I think a metallic upper would be kind of ill on these. So, maybe we'll do that. Then turn down the contrast, or you can turn it up for extremely, um, metallic color. All right. Then you got your lace loops, same deal. And because basically the whole shoe was on black, technically you could have just done the whole shoe and just knocked it all down. But when you really want to get specific with areas, you start to do it this way, where you basically layer each and every panel on the shoe, just so you'll have that extra customization. And I kind of like the high contrast on this, but I might turn down the brightness to give it a little bit more of a metallic hue to it. And the laces on this pair, they are not the greatest to change from black to white, and I think it's because you might see a lot of the highlights in the laces, and so I'm just trying to change the brightness and contrast. See, I could leave them. I was thinking about going white with the laces, but then I might just leave them the silver to match the upper. So we just playing with the brightness and the contrast. And these are looking pretty good so far. And sometimes I'll jump to you know we have some other layers to go, but I might actually jump and hit the mesh upper next just to get a better visualization of the whole shoe. So I'm just turning the saturation down, bringing it a little lighter, and I'm just gonna see what would happen if I see if I go too light, you start to lose the definition in the shading on the mesh. So that's why you don't want to go too far down with that, or too far up, should I say. So you know what, we got it. Now we got our brightness and contrast, and boom. So you know now you got a complete metallic silver upper. And I don't know if I want to have a whole lot of definition in the mesh, or if I want to tone it down a little bit. I think I want to, you know what, I'm going to leave the definition, but I'm going to play with the levels a little bit just because it's kind of a little dark. So look at that. That's a complete metallic. And I mean, that if you look, really, that could be like a 3M mesh, 3M leather, you know, whatever the case may be. And so I'm going to, I think we're going to make the tongue badge white and maybe hit it with the red lettering. I think that would be ill. Alright, so it's the same old saturation, lightness. You don't want to make it too light. And because that's such a small layer, like, you know what I mean, you can't really see a whole lot of it. It doesn't really matter how you make it whiter, but I'm gonna do it the way that I usually do it. And it's light enough where you can just, nah, you know what, let's make it more white. So that's pretty white. And all we got left is tongue font. And this one is another tool that I use just as much. So on the specific layer, I'm just gonna hit color overlay. It's already red because I might have the last thing I might have used was a red color, so it kind of remembers that when I'm doing this stuff. So you know, it automatically makes it red. You might want to turn down the opacity a little bit so it doesn't look so I don't know, you know. Hit OK, and you know what? Let's knock down this color for the background, get rid of this pattern, and I don't know, maybe we'll whiten it up a little bit. And I usually see what's the best way to present something. So you can go full white, or you can go a nice gray. And I actually think I like the gray a little bit more at this point, so I might hit him with that. And you know, we'll OK that. We'll hide this source image, and then pretty much only thing left to do is tag it. So you know, you go to your text I don't know what you would even call this damn thing, but your text selector, and you know, select your font size, whatever font you want to use, and then you would just go at it. So this is my font that I use. Make sure you find one that you like a lot. Don't bite mine's. Don't bite someone else's. You know, be original. If you're taking your time to do this, you obviously want to go the full step and make it completely yours. So this is what I do, and we size it up and we save it. Simple as that's it. Thanks a lot, guys. Make sure you subscribe, you comment, you like, share it. There's going to be a lot more videos. And thanks for your time. And we're going to have some fun with this.